Sometimes God can feel so far away, like his back is turned and his ears are deaf. And I know I've experienced times of distance where I question if he's even there. It just feels like there's no more fruit. It's not unusual for us, especially in suffering, to ask if God will come through. Will he heal? Will he be there? Does he hear us? Will he hold me fast? And the challenge of faith is no more seen in those exact times of suffering. It can be so hard, and sometimes we just need to echo the words over and over in our head that God is faithful. Psalm 25:10 says, "All the paths of the Lord are faithfulness and truth to those who comply with his covenant and his testimonies." That means that all the paths of God are faithful and true. Something that we have to understand is that God honors his word when we are obedient, and he honors his word when we are disobedient. He is the same forever and always. Welcome to today's video. Come with me for a full morning of homemaking. I pray this video inspires and encourages you to do something productive around your home. Get started on that load of laundry, or just maybe you need a break and drink a cup of tea and meditate on God's words. Today, we are going to be talking about God's faithfulness and remaining faithful to God even in our suffering. How can we develop faithfulness in God in all places? And what does that plan look like? Let's start with just looking at faithfulness of God when we are in rebellious places. These can be times when we've been obedient and the enemy comes in, and sometimes God gives us clear instructions and we think that we have a better way. Isaiah 55:8-9 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than yours, and my thoughts than yours." I know for a fact that I've been guilty of this, thinking that somehow I can be one foot in the world and another foot walking with God. But the truth is that we cannot serve two masters, and we cannot eat from two different tables. The Lord's ways are better. I mean, how many times have you seen it in your own life over and over again? And even if we don't understand it, we have to trust him. No matter how much we think we know better, God is still going to be faithful to our rebellion because that's who he is. No matter how much we try to get away with it or think that we've snuck through the cracks, snuck away, God will catch up with us, and there are consequences. Sometimes God delays punishment because he is merciful. But if we go to rebellious places, he will uphold his word. And just like parents, I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, and if my husband and we have consequences for our children, and it's not because we want them to be miserable or sad that we took something away or did something, but it's because we love them. We deeply love them. Something else that can be extremely hard to accept is that when we go into places of rebellion, we never go alone. If we rebel against God, we can expect shame, deception, loss, and blindness of our sin. Sin, it blinds and it deceives us. And we always leave footprints and lead others with us. We not only stumble, but we cause others to stumble as well, and we cannot think that we are ever an exception. We serve a God who will surprise us when we are faithful. When we feel like we are in forgotten places, God shows us favor and sustains us time and time again. We can read the Bible and see story after story where this has happened, and we can talk to any Christian, any devout Christian, and listen to their testimony, and they will also vouch that this has happened to them. This has happened to me. I have my own testimony up here on YouTube, and it was my very first video, so if you haven't watched it, then you can go check it out. But I was completely lost at one point in my life, and while I questioned whether or not I even believed in a loving, caring God anymore, and I was doing all of these rebellious and promiscuous things, God still cared enough about me to reel me back in. And He didn't just walk after me, He ran after me, and I didn't deserve it, and I still don't think that I do, but that is just His goodness and His grace, and it makes me emotional all the time talking or even thinking about Him. So here I am making some zucchini and carrot muffins. I will do absolutely everything in my power to sneak veggies into my kids' foods. I love using things like zucchini, shredded up broccoli, carrots, and sweet potatoes. They're super easy to sneak into food, especially baked goods. And things that are just a little bit sweet, things that maybe have like a little bit of unsweetened cocoa powder or chocolate chips in them. The veggies hide really well in there. Pureeing vegetables to hide them works really well too. For instance, I love taking an entire bag of steamed veggies and pureeing them. I cook them, puree them, and then toss them into a spaghetti sauce, or some sort of pasta sauce. So before making spaghetti or pasta or pizza, it just goes completely unnoticed. So there's a little hack for you mamas out there if you are struggling to get your toddlers to eat their vegetables. I will be sure to post the recipe in the description below, so look for that. Satan wants us to believe the lie that we have gotten to a place where God's arms are short and His strength does not work. But remember and hold fast to this, because this is so important. Sometimes God lets us stay in the lion's den, but He shuts the mouths of the lion. We have to patiently work through our obedience to God through a pattern of consistencies. We need to confess, we need to repent, we need to change and make those adjustments. We need to stop doing what we're doing, and then we can resume. And it's so important to remember that the sanctification process is ongoing, but before we know it, we can develop a pattern of obedience if we continue to walk with Him and we continue to stay in His Word. We also have to be super aware of our convictions and stop ignoring them. It's so easy to want to put that in the back burner or say to yourself like, oh no, that's not God talking to me. And I think that if you feel really strongly, or if something keeps popping up every time you do something, then God probably is trying to tell you something, and we need to trust that God knows what is best for us. Continue to remind yourself of God's sovereignty. Remember, your Father's hand has led you here and met you here, no matter what you are going through. Whether you are down deep in the valley or on the mountaintops, He is the same and He never changes. It is His delight that we would be faithful to Him. And we know without a shadow of a doubt that He will be faithful to us. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, please hit the subscribe button, like, comment your thoughts, and share with a friend who might need this message today. This encourages me to make more godly content for you. My name is Anna, and I curate biblically sound videos for women to advocate for Jesus and the beauty of traditional homemaking.